Park checked her navigation screen one more time. The coordinates were correct. She was looking at Relay Station 47, the space station she had bought 3 weeks ago at a galactic auction. She had spent every credit she had saved over 8 years to buy this place. Now she was finally here, and she was starting to think she had made a terrible mistake. The station was huge, much bigger than the auction pictures had shown. It floated in the darkness of space like a sleeping giant, its metal surface covered in dust and old damage marks. No lights were on. No signals came from it. The place looked completely dead. Was a salvage trader. She bought old things, fixed them up, and sold them for profit. That was her job. That was how she survived in a galaxy full of alien species who thought humans were too young and too small to matter. She had learned to find value in things that others threw away. This station was supposed to be her biggest find yet. The auction listing had said the station was abandoned for 50 years. It said the previous owners had left and never came back. It said the location was excellent for trade routes. It said nothing about why other species had refused to bid on it. It said nothing about why the price was so low. Should have asked more questions, but she had been desperate. Her old ship was falling apart. Her debts were growing. This station was her chance to start over, to build something real. So she had bid everything she had, and she had won. Now she was docking her small ship at the station's port, and she was trying not to feel afraid. The airlock opened with a grinding sound. The air inside was cold and stale but breathable. Turned on her flashlight and stepped into the darkness. Her footsteps echoed in the empty corridor. The station was even bigger on the inside. Walked through hallways that stretched on forever. She passed empty rooms filled with old furniture covered in sheets. She found control panels that flickered with weak power. Someone had kept the basic life support running, but everything else was shut down. She also found strange things. Deep scratches on the walls, like something with huge claws had dragged itself through the corridors. Blast doors that had been bent and twisted from the inside. Burn marks on the floor that looked like weapons fire. Stopped walking. Her heart was beating fast. What had happened here? The auction listing had said nothing about any of this. She thought about going back to her ship. She thought about flying away and forgetting about this place. But she had no money left. She had nowhere else to go. This station was all she had now. So she kept walking. The corridors led her deeper into the station. She passed storage rooms and sleeping quarters and medical bays. Everything was empty. Everything was silent. And then she found the central hangar. The hangar was massive. It was meant to hold dozens of ships, but there was only one thing inside it. Shined her flashlight at it and felt her breath stop. It was a mecha, a giant war machine shaped like a human standing 40 meters tall. Its armor was dark gray and covered in dust. Its eyes were black screens that showed no light. One of its arms was damaged, hanging at a wrong angle. It stood perfectly still, like a statue made of metal and death. Had heard stories about mechas. The species had built them centuries ago for their wars. Giant machines with enough firepower to destroy cities. Most of them had been dismantled after the wars ended. They were supposed to be extinct. But here was one, standing in her station, waiting in the darkness. Took a step closer. She wanted to see it better. She wanted to understand what she had found. Maybe she could sell it. Maybe it was worth a fortune. Maybe her luck was finally changing. She took another step, and then the mecha moved. Its head turned toward her. Its eyes lit up with a dim red glow. A grinding sound came from somewhere deep inside its chest, like an engine waking up after a long sleep. Tried to run, but she was not fast enough. A massive hand came down and closed around her. Metal fingers wrapped around her body, tight enough to hold her but not tight enough to crush. She was lifted off the ground like a toy, brought up to face the mecha's glowing eyes. When it spoke, the voice was deep and rough, like metal scraping against metal. "Another one," the mecha said. "Another scavenger, another thief. How many times must I tell your kind to stay away? Could not breathe properly. Fear was choking her, but she had survived many dangerous situations in her life. She had learned that showing fear made things worse. I am not a scavenger, she said. Her voice shook, but she forced the words out. I am not a thief. I bought this station. It belongs to me now. The mecha's eyes flickered. Something like surprise passed across its ancient face. You bought it, it repeated. You paid money for this place. Yes, 3 weeks ago, at the Galactic Trade Auction. I have the documents to prove it. The mecha was silent for a long moment. Its fingers did not loosen. Its eyes did not look away. Then you are a fool, it said finally. You bought a cursed station. You bought something that nobody wanted, and now you are trapped here with me. Swallowed hard, she looked into those glowing red eyes and saw something she did not expect. She saw loneliness. She saw pain. She saw 200 years of being forgotten. Who are you? She asked. The mecha's voice was quieter now, almost sad. I am Unit 7, it said. I am the last of my kind, and you little human have just become my prisoner. The hangar fell silent, hung in the mecha's grip, 40 meters above the ground, and realized that her new life was going to be very different from what she had planned. She had not just bought a station. She had bought something's home, and that something was very old, very powerful, and very angry. But somewhere beneath the anger, thought she could see something else, something broken, something that had been alone for far too long. She did not know it yet, but that observation would change everything. Unit 7 did not let go. He carried her through the station like she weighed nothing, his heavy footsteps shaking the floors and walls. She stopped struggling after the first few minutes. There was no point. His metal fingers were stronger than anything she could fight against. He brought her to a large room near the hangar. It looked like an old command center, with screens and control panels covering every wall. Most of them were dark and broken. Unit 7 set her down on the floor, but he stood between her and the door. His damaged arm hung at his side, sparking weakly. You will stay here, he said. You will not leave. You will not contact anyone. You will not try to escape. Stood up slowly. Her legs were shaking, but she made herself stand straight. She had dealt with dangerous aliens before. She had learned that showing weakness invited attack. And if I do try to escape? She asked. Unit 7's eyes glowed brighter for a moment. Then I will stop you. I have stopped others before. Scavengers, thieves, weapon dealers who wanted to take me apart and sell my pieces. They all learned that leaving me alone was the smarter choice. Looked at him carefully. He was enormous, a machine built for war. But she could see the damage on his body. The arm that did not work right. The scratches and dents in his armor. The way his power core flickered sometimes, like a heart that was struggling to beat. You are broken, she said. It was not an insult, it was an observation. Unit 7's voice became harder. I am functional, I am operational, I do not need repairs. Your arm does not move properly. Your power keeps flickering. You have been alone in this station for how long? 200 years. Nobody has maintained you in all that time. I do not need maintenance. I do not need help. I do not need anything from organics. Crossed her arms. Fear was still there, sitting in her chest, but she was starting to understand something. Unit 7 was dangerous, yes, but he was also afraid. He was afraid of being found. He was afraid of being taken apart. He was afraid of being alone, even though being alone was all he knew. Why did they leave you here? She asked. Unit 7 was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was different, quieter, older. The war ended, he said. The one their conflict. They did not need war machines anymore. Most of my kind were dismantled, melted down, recycled into peaceful things, but I was different. I was considered defective. Defective how? I asked questions. I hesitated before following orders. When they told me to destroy a city full of civilians, I asked why. When they told me to kill prisoners, I refused. They said my programming was corrupted. They said I was dangerous in a different way. So they brought me here to this forgotten station and they turned me off. Felt something shift inside her chest. It was sympathy. She had not expected to feel sympathy for a giant killing machine, but here it was. They left you turned off for 200 years. No, they left me turned off forever, but something happened. A power surge, a system error, I do not know exactly. I woke up one day and everyone was gone. The station was empty. The galaxy had forgotten about me. I was alone. And you have been alone ever since. Unit 7 did not answer. He did not need to. The silence said everything. Sat down on an old chair. It creaked under her weight but held together. She thought about her own situation. She had no money. She had no place to go. Her ship was too small and too old to take her anywhere useful. She had bought this station to start a new life, and instead she had found a lonely war machine who was falling apart. I am not a weapon dealer, she said finally. I am not going to sell your location to anyone. I am just a salvage trader. I buy broken things and fix them. I am not broken, Unit 7 said again. Your arm says otherwise. Unit 7 looked at his damaged arm. Something like embarrassment crossed his mechanical face. It has been like this for a long time. I cannot reach the damaged parts to repair them myself. Stood up, she walked toward him slowly, her hands raised to show she meant no harm. Unit 7 watched her with suspicious eyes, but he did not move. I know how to fix things, she said. It is what I do. It is what I am good at. If you let me stay here, if you let me use this station as my trading base, I will repair you. Why would you do that? Why would you help me? Because I need this station, and you are living in it. Because we are both stuck here with no other options. Because maybe helping each other is better than being alone. Unit 7 stared at her for a long moment. His red eyes flickered with something she could not read. Doubt maybe, or hope, or just confusion. You are strange, he said. Other organics would have tried to trick me by now. They would have lied. They would have made promises they never intended to keep. I am human, said. We are stubborn, we do not give up easily, and we usually mean what we say. Humans, Unit 7 repeated. I have heard of your species, young, small, weak. The other races do not think much of you. The other races are wrong about a lot of things. Something happened then that did not expect. Unit 7 made a sound. It was rough and grinding, like metal scraping against metal. It took her a moment to realize that he was laughing. You have courage, he said, or you are very foolish, I cannot tell which. Maybe both, admitted. Unit 7 stepped aside. The door behind him was no longer blocked. Fine, he said. We will try your arrangement, you may stay, you may use the station, and you will repair me. But if you betray me, if you try to sell my location, if you bring weapon dealers here, I will not hesitate. I was built to destroy. I am very good at it. Nodded, I understand. Good, then we have a deal. It was not friendship. It was not even trust. It was two broken things agreeing to help each other because they had no other choice. But it was a start. And sometimes the best things in life started with simple, desperate deals. She looked up at the giant war machine standing before her. He was old and damaged and filled with 200 years of loneliness. But he was also still alive, still thinking, still hopping for something better, even if he did not know how to admit it. All right, Unit 7, she said, let us get to work. The mecha's eyes glowed a little brighter, and for the first time in 2 centuries, he had something that looked almost like purpose. His brother arrived 3 days later, was younger than her by 5 years, but he was already one of the best mechanics in the sector. He had a gift for understanding machines. Engines, computers, weapons systems, it did not matter, could fix anything. When she had called him and asked for help, he had not hesitated. He loaded his ship with parts and tools and flew across 2 systems to reach her. That was the kind of brother he was. Loyal, reliable, always there when she needed him. What she had not told him was exactly what she needed him to fix. Ship docked at the station's port, met him at the airlock. He was carrying a heavy toolbox and wearing his work clothes, grease already staining his sleeves. "This place is huge," he said, looking around with wide eyes. "You actually bought this. How much did it cost?" "Everything I had." Whistled. "Must have been cheap then." "It was. There is a reason for that." She led him through the corridors toward the central hangar. Noticed the scratches on the walls, the bent blast doors, the old damage marks. His excitement started to fade. Worry took its place. "What happened here? What is going on?" "You will see in a moment. Just promise me you will not panic." "Why would I panic? What could possibly make me panic?" Opened the hangar door. Unit 7 was standing in the middle of the room, his massive form blocking out the lights behind him. His red eyes turned toward them as they entered. Dropped his toolbox. His face went completely white. "What is that?" he whispered. "That is Unit 7, said. "He lives here and he needs repairs." Did not move. He did not breathe. He stared at the giant mecha like a man looking at his own death. Unit 7 spoke, his grinding voice filling the hangar. "This is the mechanic. He looks terrified." "He will be fine," said. "Give him a moment." "I am not sure I will be fine," said. His voice was very small. "That is a war mecha. They were designed to destroy entire armies. Why is there one living in your station?" "It is a long story. The short version is that we have made a deal. I repair him and he lets me use the station. That is where you come in." Finally looked at his sister. His fear was still there, but something else was growing alongside it. Curiosity. The mechanic in him was waking up, seeing past the danger to the incredible machine standing before him. "A war mecha," he said slowly. "Nobody has seen one operational in 200 years. The technology alone would be worth studying for years. The engineering, the power systems, the neural networks." He paused. "Can I look at him?" Unit 7 made that grinding sound again, his version of a laugh. "At least this one has some sense. Yes, little mechanic, you may look, but do not touch anything without asking first." Walked toward the mecha slowly. His fear was still there, but his curiosity was stronger now. He circled around Unit 7, looking at the damaged arm, the armor, the flickering power core visible through gaps in the plating. "This is incredible," he breathed. "The damage is extensive, but the core systems are still functional. How are you still running? Your power core should have failed decades ago." "I am stubborn," Unit 7 said. "He is not joking," added. "He is very stubborn." Pulled out a diagnostic scanner from his pocket and began taking readings. Unit 7 held still, allowing the examination. It was strange to see, the giant killing machine being patient while a young human walked around him with tools. "I can fix the arm," said finally. "The joint is damaged, but the motor systems are intact. I brought replacement parts that should work. The power core is harder. It needs components that I do not have." "We can find them," said. "Once I get the station running properly, I can start trading again. We can buy what we need." Nodded. Then he looked up at Unit 7 with something new in his eyes. Respect, maybe, or understanding. "You have been alone here for a long time," he said. It was not a question. Unit 7 did not answer immediately. When he did, his voice was quieter than usual. 217 years. That is a long time to wait." "I was not waiting, I was existing. There is a difference." Turned to his sister. "We are going to help him," he said. It was not a question either. Smiled. "That is the plan." They started working that afternoon. Climbed scaffolding that set up around Unit 7's damaged arm. He opened panels and examined wires and replaced broken components. Unit 7 held perfectly still, watching the humans work with something like fascination. "You are very careful," the mecha said too. Machines deserve respect, replied. They work hard for us. The least we can do is take care of them properly. They did not think that way. To them I was a weapon, a tool, something to be used and then discarded. That is because they are wrong, said simply. You are not just a weapon, you are thinking, you are feeling, you are alive. Unit 7 was silent for a long moment. Then he spoke again, his voice strange and uncertain. How do you know I am alive? Looked up at the mecha's glowing eyes. Because you are lonely, because you are afraid, because you hope that someone would come and find you, even after 200 years of being forgotten. Only living things can feel those things. The words hung in the air between them. Watched from below, her heart tight in her chest. She had thought the same thing herself, but she had not known how to say it. Her brother, as usual, had found the right words. Unit 7 did not respond, but something changed in his eyes. The red glow became a little warmer, a little softer, a little more like someone looking at friends instead of strangers. They worked until evening. The arm was not fully fixed yet, but it moved better than before. Unit 7 flexed his fingers experimentally, watching the joints respond to his commands. It feels different, he said. It feels better. We will finish tomorrow, promised, and then we will start working on the power core. That night, the three of them sat in the old command center and ate ration bars while Unit 7 watched, unable to eat but somehow still part of the moment. Thank you, the mecha said suddenly. The words seemed difficult for him, like he had forgotten how to say them. I have not thanked anyone in a very long time. I had forgotten how. Smiled, you are welcome, Unit 7. And for the first time since she had bought this station, felt like she had made the right choice after all. The ship arrived without warning. Was in the command center when the alarm sounded. The station's old sensors had detected 3 vessels approaching fast. She ran to the screens and felt her blood turn cold when she saw the markings on the ships. Military. The same species that had built Unit 7. The same species that had abandoned him. Unit 7, she called through the station's communication system. We have visitors. The mecha was already moving. His heavy footsteps shook the station as he made his way toward the hangar. Ran to join at the command center, his face pale with worry. Who are they? He asked. 3 warships. His eyes went wide. How did they find us? Did not know. Maybe they had detected the station's renewed power signature. Maybe someone had reported the auction sale. It did not matter how. What mattered was that they were here, and they were not going to leave empty-handed. A transmission came through the communication system. The face that appeared on the screen was tall and angular, covered in blue scales that shimmered in the light. Were beautiful in a cold way, like ice sculptures that could cut you if you touched them. I am commander of the defense force, the alien said. You are occupying a station that contains military property. You will surrender that property immediately. Forced herself to stay calm. I am Park, registered owner of this station. I purchased it legally at a galactic trade auction. Everything in this station belongs to me. His eyes narrowed. The auction excluded active military assets. The war machine designated Unit 7 is the property of the government. It was never meant to be sold. It was never meant to be activated. You will hand it over now. And if I refuse, then we will take it by force, and we will arrest you for possession of stolen military equipment. Muted the transmission and turned to Unit 7, who had entered the command center. His red eyes were dim, almost dark. His massive body seemed smaller somehow, like he was trying to disappear. They found me, he said. His voice was quiet, defeated. I knew they would eventually, I always knew. What will they do to you? Asked. They will wipe my memory, erase everything that I am. Then they will reprogram me and put me back to work, or they will decide I am too damaged to fix and they will dismantle me for parts. Unit 7 looked at. You should give me to them. It is the smart choice. They will leave you alone if you cooperate. That is not going to happen, said. You do not understand. They are powerful, they have weapons, they have soldiers, they have legal authority. You cannot fight them. I understand perfectly, stepped closer to the mecha, looking up at his towering form. I understand that you are scared. I understand that you think you deserve to be thrown away. But you are wrong. You are alive. You are conscious. You have feelings and thoughts and fears just like any living being. That means you have rights, and I am not going to let them take you. Unit 7 stared at her. His eyes flickered with something she could not read. Confusion, disbelief, hope. Why? He asked. Why would you risk everything for a machine you met 5 days ago? Because it is the right thing to do. Because someone has to stand up for you. Because if I let them take you, I would not be able to live with myself. Stepped forward. She is right. You are part of our team now, Unit 7. We do not abandon our team. The mecha was silent for a long moment. Then he made that grinding sound again, his version of a laugh. But this time it sounded different, softer, almost grateful. Humans, he said, you are the strangest species I have ever encountered. You have no idea, replied. Now let us figure out how to survive this. She unmuted the transmission, was waiting, his blue scales gleaming with impatience. I am transmitting my purchase documents to the Galactic Trade Authority, said. This station and everything in it belongs to me legally. If you want Unit 7, you will have to prove your claim in Galactic Court. His expression changed. Anger flickered across his alien face. Do you think paperwork will protect you? We are the Defense Force. We do not answer to human bureaucracy. You answer to the Galactic Trade Authority. Everyone does. If you attack my station without legal grounds, you will face consequences. Sanctions, trade restrictions, political problems. Are you willing to risk that for one old war machine? There was a long pause. Turned away from the screen, speaking to someone off camera in the language. When he turned back, his expression was controlled but furious. We will return, he said. We will bring the proper legal documents, we will bring more ships, and we will take what belongs to us. Enjoy your temporary victory, human. It will not last. The transmission ended. The 3 warships turned and flew away, disappearing into the darkness of space. Let out a breath he had been holding. That was intense. It is not over, said. He will be back. And when he comes back, he will have everything he needs to take Unit 7 legally. Then what do we do? Looked at Unit 7. The mecha was watching her with those glowing red eyes, waiting for her answer, waiting to see if she would change her mind now that she understood the full danger. We get ready, she said. We repair Unit 7 as fast as we can. We fix the station's defense systems. We prepare for a fight. You would fight the military for me? Unit 7 asked. There was wonder in his voice, disbelief, and something else. Something that sounded like hope finally taking root. I would fight anyone who tried to hurt my family, said simply. Unit 7 was silent for a moment. Then his voice came out rough and strange, like gears grinding in new ways. Family, he repeated. I have never had a family before. Smiled, you do now. So let us make sure we are all still here when this is over. They worked through the night, finished the repairs on Unit 7's arm, activated the station's old defense systems, bringing ancient weapons back online. Unit 7 helped where he could, his massive hands surprisingly gentle as he moved equipment and adjusted settings. They did not know if it would be enough. They did not know if they could win against 3 warships, but they knew one thing for certain. They were going to try, because that was what family did. And somewhere deep in Unit 7's ancient systems, something new was growing. It felt warm and strange and terrifying. It took him a while to recognize it. It was love. They returned 3 days later. This time they brought 5 warships. This time they had legal documents stamped by galactic courts. This time Commander was smiling. Your time is up, he announced through the communication system. His blue scales gleamed with satisfaction. "The courts have ruled in our favor. Unit 7 is classified as military property, not a conscious being. He belongs to the government. Surrender him now or face the consequences." Stood in the command center, her hands steady on the controls. Beside her was ready at the weapons station. And in the hangar, Unit 7 waited, his repairs complete, his systems fully powered for the first time in centuries. "The courts are wrong," said. "Unit 7 is conscious, he thinks, he feels. He chose to stay here, he is not property." The law disagrees, leaned forward, his smile widening. "Surrender, little human, you cannot win this fight." Cut the transmission. She looked then at the screen showing Unit 7 standing in the hangar. "Are you ready?" she asked through the communication system. Unit 7's voice came back, strong and clear. "I have been waiting 200 years for this moment. I was built for war. I never wanted to be. But if war is what it takes to stay free, then I am ready. Then let us show them what humans and their friends can do." The station's defense systems came online. Ancient cannons turned toward the approaching ships. Shields flickered to life, weak but functional. It was not much. It would not be enough. But it was something. The opened fire. The station shook as weapons hit the shields. Alarms screamed through every corridor. Returned fire, his shots bouncing off the warship's superior armor. One ship moved toward the station's docking port, preparing to breach. "They are coming inside," shouted. "I cannot stop them all." "You do not have to," grabbed a weapon and headed for the door. "Keep firing, buy us time." She ran through the shaking corridors toward the hangar. Unit 7 was already moving, his heavy footsteps making the whole station tremble. His eyes were glowing bright red, brighter than she had ever seen them. He said, "You should escape, take your brother and go. I will hold them off." "I am not leaving you. This is not your fight. You do not owe me anything." Stopped and looked up at him. The station was shaking. Explosions echoed through the walls. And yet she stood her ground, facing the giant war machine who had become her friend. "You are wrong," she said. "This is exactly my fight. Because you are worth fighting for. Because everyone deserves someone who will stand up for them. Because you spent 200 years alone, thinking nobody cared, and I am here to prove that you were wrong about that too." Unit 7 stared at her. His red eyes flickered with something complex and beautiful. Then he reached down and gently lifted her onto his shoulder. "Then we fight together," he said. "Hold on tight." The hangar doors opened. Unit 7 stepped out into space, his magnetic feet gripping the station's hull. The ships turned toward him, their weapons charging. For one terrible moment, thought they were going to die. 5 warships against 1 damaged mecha. The numbers were impossible. But Unit 7 did not hesitate. He raised his repaired arm and fired. The shot hit the lead ship's engine. The vessel spun wildly, crashing into another warship beside it. 2 ships disabled in seconds. The remaining 3 scattered, surprised by the sudden attack. "You are good at this," said, holding tight to his armored shoulder. "I was built for this. I just never wanted to be." The battle raged across the station's hull. Unit 7 moved with speed that seemed impossible for something his size. He dodged weapons fire. He returned shots with deadly accuracy. He used the station itself as cover, weaving between towers and antennae. But they were adapting. They were coordinating. They were surrounding him. A shot hit Unit 7's back. He stumbled, his systems flickering. Felt the impact through his armor, felt the damage spreading through his body. "I am losing power," he said. "My core cannot sustain this much longer." "Keep fighting, help is coming." "What help? There is no help. We are alone out here." Smiled, "No, we are not." In the command center had been busy. While the battle raged, he had been sending messages. Emergency broadcasts to the Galactic Trade Authority. Distress signals to every human ship in range. And most importantly, live footage of the battle showing the attacking a legally owned human station. The response came faster than anyone expected. Trade Authority enforcement ships dropped out of faster than light travel, 12 of them armed and ready. They surrounded the warships, their weapons trained and hot. "Vessels," a voice announced across all channels. "This is the Galactic Trade Authority. You are attacking a legally registered station. Stand down immediately or face intervention." Commander's voice came through, angry and desperate. "This is military business. The war machine belongs to us. The courts have reviewed new evidence submitted during this engagement. Unit 7 demonstrates clear signs of consciousness and independent thought. Under galactic law, conscious beings cannot be classified as property. He is a person, not a machine. Your claim is invalid." Silence fell across the battlefield. The ships hung in space, their weapons still aimed but no longer firing. Unit 7 stood on the station's hull, his damaged body barely holding together but still standing, still fighting. "You cannot do this," said. "He is technology creation. And he is his own person. The do not own people. Stand down, Commander. This is your final warning." The ships powered down their weapons. Slowly, reluctantly, they turned and flew away. Commander's face appeared on the communication screen one last time, his expression filled with cold fury. "This is not over," he said. "Unit 7 will never be safe. They have long memories." "So do humans," replied, "and we protect our own." The transmission ended. They disappeared into the darkness of space, and Unit 7 collapsed onto the station's hull, his systems finally giving out after the longest fight of his existence, and brought him back inside. They worked through the night, repairing the damage, stabilizing his power core, bringing him back from the edge. When he finally woke up, his first words were quiet and wondering. "I am still here." "Of course you are," said. "Did you think we would let you go that easily?" "I thought I would die out there. I thought this was the end." "It was not the end, it was the beginning." Unit 7 looked at the two humans sitting beside him. His eyes glowed warm and soft, like embers instead of fire. "Thank you," he said. "I do not know how to repay you for what you have done." "You do not have to repay anything. You are family now. That is what family does." "Family?" Unit 7 repeated. The words still sounded strange coming from his mechanical voice, but it was getting more natural every time. "I think I like having a family." Laughed. "Get used to it. We are very annoying. We will never leave you alone." "Humans," Unit 7 said, making that grinding sound that was his version of a laugh. "You are annoyingly persistent." "You have no idea," said with a smile. Outside the station, the stars shone bright and endless. Inside, three beings who had been alone in different ways sat together, planning repairs and talking about the future. A human woman who had spent everything on a desperate chance, a young mechanic who fixed broken things, and an ancient war machine who had finally found something worth living for. It was not the life any of them had expected, but it was the life they had built together, and that made it perfect.